Welcome Trinidad and Tobago. This is the Business of Carnival series here on CTV. It's a program where you will get some insight in some of the things that you need to know about Carnival and heading into the Carnival season. With me to discuss some of the things that we need to know is Miss Carla Parris. She is an entertainment and sports attorney. I would like to say welcome, Miss Parris. First of all, we talk about needing to know stuff for Carnival. So it's basically an education or educating the people as to their rights heading into Carnival.
That's right, absolutely. Because the thing is, every year there's certain issues that pop up around this time. And I believe that education is the way to really assist us to elevate the industry, to allow people to be able to commercialize and generate revenue from the sector. You need to understand certain basic elements in intellectual property law.
Yeah. I know you had released 2 videos giving people an idea on some of the things that they need to know. So we take a look at one of the videos, and when we come back, we continue the discussion.
There's no bigger buzzkill than having a huge song for the season, having it played all over the radio, all over the country, and then being hit with a cease and desist letter when someone realizes that you've used material that belongs to them. Agree in advance the commission that you're paying your manager and the amount that you are going to take home when performing at events. There's nothing worse at the end of a carnival season or at the end of gigs in general being shocked at the amount of money in your bank account because you did not know the commission that your manager was going to retain for himself or herself. You absolutely have to have a song split sheet signed with your other songwriters if you want to get royalties for the public performance of your song. Your song is played on air, it is played at a fest, TV, radio. The collecting society is not going to know how many royalties are due to you unless you've decided amongst yourselves what ownership you own in the song. You absolutely should have a signed written contract with the promoter of an event agreeing on your fees. The reality is that in an economic climate like ours, some promoters may not get the profits at the door that they expected. Don't allow them to talk you out of getting the fees that are owed to you. If you have a signed and written contract agreeing to your down payments in advance and the payment that's owed to you on the night of the event after you've performed, this can minimize your risk of walking home with no money. There's nothing worse than having a hit song, having it performed all over the radio and so on. Having companies approach you to do endorsement deals and deals of all various kinds. And then you realize that you don't have the right to enter into the deal with them in the first place because you do not own the master. Just because you paid a producer for a song, it does not mean that you're automatically entitled to the master.
Well, there you had it, some tips for Carnival done by Miss Carla Parris, attorney at law, who is still here with us. Before we get into the contents of the video itself, what was the inspiration behind getting this video out there?
Okay, so over the past 5 years or so, I've taken part in a lot of different educational initiatives. It would either be through speaking at conferences, teaching at workshops hosted by various stakeholders in the sector, or even online education. And I've realized throughout the years that people are consuming content differently nowadays. The attention span is much shorter because of social media and because of how consumed we are with content. So I decided that I wanted to test how the artist would respond to content like this, packaged, short, and and digestible content. And it really has done very well. You know, I had pitched the idea to about 3 different entertainment entities before I actually was able to produce it. So I was really, really excited about that, you know. I'd gone to different, as I said, different persons, and eventually one day Music TT called me, Janelle Frenton from Music TT called, because they had a education concept that they were going to do themselves. And I said to her, well, listen, you know, I have this concept. It's been in my head for the longest time. I think it would do very well, digestible content for the artists. And she said, well, look, as much as you're coming on set already to do this concept for us, sure, you know, how about we try yours? Because the equipment was there, the cameraman were there. I'd already written the script, I'd already planned out my concept. I knew how I wanted it to look. And that's how it came to life.
But how important is education for this period?
Education is important year-round, and that's the challenge that I have. I find often that persons only become interested at this period of time, and sometimes it's too late because the artists have already gone to studio. People start going to studio from October, November, packaging their stuff, going to the production houses and so forth, and that's why the information is relevant year-round. So the whole impetus for even me having this discussion with you today is not just for artists, but different stakeholders, event planners, promoters, persons in the carnival sector, so that they take this information now and apply it year-round to their businesses.
That video that we showed has about 5 tips that people need to know about, one of them being the cease and desist letter that can be given. Explain that a little bit more.
Well, it depends. So that tip was in relation to making sure that artists enter into proper production agreements when you are producing a song. Because what can often happen, and what does happen, is that if you don't enter into a written contract which clarifies the rights in the song, so what are the entitlements of the songwriter? What are the entitlements of the producer of the song? Then when it becomes big, it becomes popular, persons want to use it in films and documentaries and advertisements, which happen after the season because the song has been so popular, then you may find yourself in a situation where you can't make any money from it because all these third parties come out now claiming their bits, claiming their percentage. And that's why I said you do want to guard against a cease and desist letter by doing your formalities in advance. And it's something that I've preached throughout the years.
And being educated also incorporates the need to sign a contract. You need to understand the importance of a contract.
That's correct.
So commission and paying managers, you know, some people might say, you know, this is my friend, or, you know, I've known this person for so long, you know, I think I can trust this person, get into an agreement, a verbal agreement, but there is nothing which is written,
yes,
which can probably put somebody in some trouble at some point in time.
Yes. And that's what I was trying to guard against as well. The whole question of having proper management, having management who understand their role, who understand the formality of the business is another area that I have been speaking about for some time. But the reason that it's important specifically for the carnival season is that many artists, as you would know, do 5-10 gigs a night. You go from fete to fete to fete. So you're not the one paying attention to the performance fees that have been paid to you. Somebody else is collecting them. And you are busy, as you ought to be, perfecting your craft, perfecting your set, making sure that your vocal cords and everything are on point. But what happens is that post the season, when you're a bit more relaxed and you're ready now to say, okay, how much money did I actually make for the season? Then you're shocked because you're saying, well, I had done all these different gigs, so how come I only have X% in my bank account? And it's because you didn't have a proper discussion with your manager and a proper contract which clarifies what are the amounts that he or she is actually going to pay to you less their own personal expenses.
All right, well, thank you very much, Ms. Carla Parris, for just speaking with us briefly there about the education and the need to be educated, be it an artiste or a promoter or a manager of some sort, the need to be educated around this period, Carnival 2017. This is the Carnival series on CTV, The Business of Carnival. I'm Rishi Harinanan. Stay with us. We have more coming up next.